Hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle from Kyle Raps here, and today I have a brand new tutorial for you guys. It is on moving objects. Now, in this tutorial, you will find it is going to be a storyboard layout. So we're going to have buttons, labels, text fields, things like that, and we're going to be moving them left, right, and center. And I also have some announcements in the end of this video, so please stay tuned at the end of this video to hear those. So let's just get started with this tutorial here. So we'll go ahead and open up my project that I already created, and you should be opening up yours as well. I just called it moving objects, plain and simple. But first things we need to do, we need to scroll down just here in the moving objects general section. We need to scroll down until you see linked frameworks and libraries. In this, we're just going to go ahead and click plus, and we're going to go search for Quartz, right there, Quartz Core .framework. Now we just need to add that framework. Make sure it goes into our frameworks. Okay, that's good. Now what this does, it just basically frameworks is you're adding a section of files that have specific source code that allow us to do things that we wouldn't normally be able to do with just regular Xcode and no frameworks other than the basis of the ones installed. This comes with Xcode, so you don't have to go to externally download it, so that's a plus. But anyway, first thing we want to do is we actually want to go into our main.storyboard. So once this loads up, we're just going to basically lay out the storyboard here for what we want to do. So down here in our objects section, we're going to want to search for a button. We're actually going to need 3 of these. So go ahead and just drag them in. So 1, 2, 3. Now let's just lay these out a little bit nicer. Center that one. Want to make sure they're all nice and even. And once we have that done, we'll just push these down a little bit here. We're going to rename them. So we'll name the one on the left, left, the one in the center, center, and the one on the right, right. Now these are going to be basically our control buttons. So if we want to move the object to the left, this is the button we're going to be using. To the right, that one, and center, this one. Automatically, we want to have all of our buttons in the center. So let's just go ahead. Sorry, not buttons, objects. We want our objects in the center. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a label. Center that. Let's see. We can add a button again. Yep, that's good. Let's add a text field. What else? We can add. What else do we want? Do you know what? I think that's actually good. Let's just center these 3. Yep, that should be good. Now that that's done, we're just going to go ahead and open up our assistant editor here. And this basically gives us a side-by-side view of our storyboard and our coding window. So automatically, it'll be set to automatic and viewController.m. We want to make sure it's set to .h because we're going to be declaring our buttons, labels, and text field. So again, open up the parentheses. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to right click and drag at the same time with all of our buttons, labels, and declare them as an IB outlet. And we'll give this one the name of left. Make sure it's set to strong. Connect. And we'll do the same for center. Sorry, we don't want to capitalize it. Make sure it's an outlet and right. And as well, we want to actually bring in our label. So we'll just call this label. Sorry, label. There we go. Connect that. And then our button. So we'll just call this button. And, oh, we don't want to actually move it. So right click and text field. Text field. There we go. So now, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and, yep, they're all connected. Let's go ahead into the .m. Once we're in there, oh, we're actually not done here. We actually have to import and make sure it's the greater and less than signs here. And we want to import the quartz core slash quartzcore.h. And once that's in there, now we're ready to switch over to our .m, which is right over here. And when we're in there, we actually need to add our IB actions. So let's just go ahead and add 3 of them right now. So it'd be dash bracket IB action. It should pop up automatically. We'll leave that selector there just for now. Add a parentheses, our brackets. And we'll copy and paste that 3 times. And now we can change the names from selector, and we want this one to be left, center, and right. Now once that's done, we'll just make it look a little bit neater here. And that's good. Now what we need to do is we actually need to get the frame of all of these objects. Now that can be done by simply going into your storyboard, selecting your our object. In this case, we're going to be starting off with our left button and heading over into the size inspector. And when we're in here, we want to make sure it's set on the top left. And as you can see, our X, our Y, our width, and our height. So now that we have all that, we can just need to add the basics frame. So we actually don't need the frame for these buttons because we're not going to be moving them. We're going to be moving these ones. So let's go ahead and get the first one, which is our label. And it is actually 139 and 214 for the X and Y. So let's go ahead and add label dot frame equals CG rect make, and it's right there at the top. And now for our X value, we just want to set it to this, and I do believe it was 214. Yep, 214. And our width and our height are 42 and 21. This may be different for you, but in my case it is 42 and 21. And of course at the end add our semicolon. Now that we have our, let's just call it the basis code here, we'll just copy and paste that actually 3 times because we're going to be moving 3 objects. And we're going to change this to button, change this one to text field, and now we just have to change the frame. So for our button, it is 137, not 139. And for our Y, it's 261 instead of 214. And our width and height is 46 and 30. And 30. For our text field, it's a width of, an X value of 112, Y value of 323, and a width of 97, and an automatic set for height of 30, meaning you cannot change the height of this at all. You can change the width though. So these frames may be different in your cases. That's just depending on the layout of your object, where they are and where they're placed. So if your numbers do not exactly match mine, that is okay. So now that we have that, we actually want to add this one piece of code here, which is, right now we're in the IB action left. We're going to go ahead and type a bracket UI view, and then animate with duration, and it's the third one down if you just type in what I just typed. So just go ahead and click that, and we want to give it a time. This is an interval of how long it should take to get from point A to point B in our case. So in this case, we're going to make it 1 second. And here, just go ahead and click enter on that, and it will automatically set up that. And then for our completion, which is just what's going to happen at the end, we're just going to go ahead and select nil, and of course add the semicolon. Now in here, where it says code here, just go ahead and backspace that. We're actually going to copy these frames just to get our basis code as we called it before, and then we're going to copy and paste this into each of these IB actions. I'm only doing this just to make it easier on the coding. So right now, the center is actually all completed, so these frames are centered, and what we can do is we can actually go ahead and connect that to the center button, and our left and our right still need to be fixed. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all three of these in our main storyboard, and we're just going to move them to where we want them to be. Well, for me, I'd want them right there. So now all we need to do is get the new X value for each of these objects. So for the label, it's 47. For the button, it's 45. And for the text field, it is 20. So now the frames, the Y values and the width and the height should be the same unless you want those different, which you can do. We will do that on the right hand side here. So let's say it's the X value is 230, button is 228, and text field is 203. Now let's say in the right hand side here, you actually want it what one do we want to make bigger? Let's make the text field longer. We want it to be extended. In the left IB action here, let's just set the width. We're going to set it, instead of 97, we're going to make it 197. So now that that's done, all of these should be 97 still, except for this. So it's going to grow in width. We can go ahead and connect these to left and connect this one to right. And of course, we want to put these back where they were before, which is in the center. I do believe right here. Let me just go double check. 214, 61, and okay, so that is good. We should be finished if I am correct. We can just actually go ahead and run this in the simulator. Okay, so here we are, and we are brought to our simulator. So as you can tell, our label, button, and our text field are all in the center, which is what we wanted. But if we click right, notice they do move over nice and smoothly with that animation, which is set right in here, and I will go ahead and explain that in a second. But if we move it to the left, as you can tell, this thing actually grows. Sorry, not thing. This object has actually grown. So if we move it back to center, it will go back to being 97 in width. Left will be set to 197, so it does grow 100 pixels. So now all of our code is finished, and I'll just go over it for you guys. So right here, this is going to be our main frame that the user will first see when they load it up. As you can tell before, when we first loaded it up in the simulator, it was in the center, which is what we wanted. So that's when the view does load. Now the center action here, we want this to be the center. So let's say they do click the left, and it brings it over left, and they want to go back to the default, well, they can click center and it brings it back to default. And again, with the right, it's the exact same thing. If they're over here on the right and they want to go back to center, they can do that. So that is it for this tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and here come the announcements. Alright guys, I just had a couple announcements here. First off, I'd just like to say I hope you guys are liking the intro and outro. It took me a couple days to make, and I really put a lot of work into it, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Second thing I need to talk about is I have a new schedule. So I am forcing myself to have weekly videos. Every Tuesday you're either going to get a tutorial or like a different type of video. Like I've been posting iPoke videos, those types of videos where they're not only about tutorials, and it'll be about other things. So yeah, every Tuesday there's gonna be a new video. Third thing is that iPoke P3 has been delayed only because I got my wisdom teeth back a month ago. It was like a really surprise, like they're starting to come through, and I don't know, I had to get them out right away, and I wasn't able to make any videos. Well, I think I did, but it was bad. So I just didn't post it, but yeah, I was like in recovery for like a month and couldn't really do anything. So that's why that got delayed. iPoke P3, I'm giving it a new deadline. It should be out before December, but I will have there'll be an annotation here just letting you know if that did change when I'm posting this video. But yeah, sometime in December. Fourth thing is I missed the I don't know what to call it, but I got 40,000 views on my channel, and that's a lot, especially because I started this channel not knowing that I would get a lot of subscribers. Like, I mean, I'm almost at 500 now, and I would never have thought I'd be up there. And I'm at 40,000 views. I mean, like, that's like 40,000 people or multiple people, or the same person has watched my videos over again and again, and they're still trending, and people are still sharing them for help, and I'm still getting emails of requests. I'm still getting emails of like things like that, and I'm just extremely grateful for you guys. um, Thanks for being a great audience, I guess I could say. Yeah, so just if you want to just go ahead and click the subscribe button right here if you're not already, and as well you can click the previous tutorial button right up there in the top left, and it'll bring you back to the previous tutorial. And then I also have a mystery button here, and basically that's just going to bring you back to a random video on my channel. So yeah, just hit the subscribe button, like the video, and put a comment down below if you have any questions or comments about the channel. Thanks guys, peace.